Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, or welcome if you are new here. I was planning on doing another in-depth kind of colourful makeup tutorial because you guys seem to be really loving that, especially on my Instagram page as well. But I thought I would break up the content with something that's a little bit more wearable colour rather than bright, bold, green, shimmery, blue kind of vibe. So I thought I would go for this kind of pinky, plummy, grungy, how many adjectives can I use in a sentence? I don't really know why I decided to do this kind of makeup look in August. It's definitely more of like a autumnal winter kind of makeup look, but I think it still looks really nice. And it's definitely something that's more of a wearable look if you want to incorporate any colour into your eye makeup as well. So I'm going to quit chatting. Let's get started into this tutorial and I really hope you enjoy. So I'm actually starting a tutorial by doing my base first. I thought it was a little bit more realistic to do this tutorial by doing my base makeup first because it's a lot easier to follow that way, and I think a lot more people actually do their base makeup before eyes anyway. So I haven't put any sort of moisturiser on my skin yet, so I'm using my LMS Superfood Day Cream. I really love this stuff for my daily moisturiser, and I have the night version for nighttime. I love this because I'm someone that is driven by the scent, so if something smells horrible I don't want to put it on my face no matter how good it is, because I find I can smell it all the way throughout the day, and especially when you're putting it on your face. And then of course I'm going on with primer as well. I'm using my trusty Bobbi Brown vitamin enriched face base. Just about that much on my skin. I feel like this combination together really hydrates my skin. Although this product from Bobbi Brown isn't designed for drier skin types because it is oil free, I feel like that extra little bit of hydration mixed in with my superfood creates a really nice base underneath makeup. Really smooth as well. The texture of the vitamin rich face base is super smooth. But it is really good for oily skin types because it is oil free, so you could literally just use that as your moisturiser if you wanted to. You don't necessarily just have to use it as a primer. I think for more drier skin types it's best as a primer rather than just a moisturiser solely on its own. Oh, I feel more alive already. And then of course popping a little bit of eye cream on as well. This is one from Estee Lauder that I showed you in my correcting and concealing video. I'm going to move straight into foundation. So you guys know my little favourite combo at the minute is my NARS Radiant Longwear Foundation and my Ordinary Serum Foundation. I just haven't found the need to move away from that combo yet. I do have a lot of foundations that I really love, but this combination at the moment is just my favourite, and it gives a really nice finish on my skin. I love it in pictures, I love it in person, so can't get away from it. And even though I'm going for more of like a full coverage glam, it doesn't feel like anything on the skin. And that's not just because I've mixed it in with the serum foundation. The NARS foundation on its own, if you haven't tried it, it's full coverage but you literally can't feel it on the skin at all. It's really nice. I'm just buffing this on with a brush today. I kind of mix between a brush and a sponge depending on what I fancy that day. Some days I prefer a sponge, some days I prefer using this brush. This one is from Peaches and Cream. I'm not sure if it's still available. A lot of the time when I've gone to link a couple of brushes from Peaches and Cream that are out of stock, they don't show at all on the website, so it makes you wonder, is it out of stock or has it completely been discontinued? I will have a look when I'm linking all of the products in the description box and see if it's still available. Obviously if it is, I will link it below. So you guys know I like to do my contour before my concealer. I'm using the Revolution Fast Base Stick Foundation. This is in the shade F16. I still haven't got a colour that's probably appropriate for my skin tone. And of course buffing that in with another Peaches and Cream brush. This is another one of those brushes that I've tried to link before but never seem to be able to find it on there. I still haven't moved on to anything else for my concealer, so I'm using my trusty NARS Radiant Creamy Concealers, and I'm mixing two shades of vanilla and custard together. Ignore how disgusting these tubes are. So I'm using a little bit of vanilla underneath the eyes, and then I'm going to be using custard throughout the centre of my face. face. And I'm just using a sponge for this. I much prefer a sponge to blend in my concealer than a brush. And I just swap between my contour brush and my sponge to just blend that all together. You're probably not surprised, but for powder we're using the Huda Beauty Easy Bake Powder in Cupcake. What else do I use? You could probably tell me what I'm going to be using before I tell you. Going in with bronzer, Hula Caramel. I'm trying to adjust the way I apply my bronzer onto my forehead because I don't want it to look too small, because I have a naturally small forehead anyway, and I think the way that I was applying my bronzer made it look even smaller. I think I'm going to go back to my favourite blush, which is the Milani Baked Blush in Luminoso. Absolutely beautiful colour, and I love the formula where it's got more of a soft shimmer to it as well. I just love a blush. I feel like this is quite nice because even though it's more of a coral tone, I think it is going to go really nicely with the eye makeup. Did you just see me poke myself in the eye then? I probably am going to go back in with bronzer and blusher at the very end, because I feel like when you do your makeup and you do your bronzer and blusher, by the time you get to the end of it, it's all pretty much all gone. So no doubt I will be going back in with both of those. I'm just going to be doing my nose contour with the Hula Caramel. And we're just gonna leave it like that. I'm joking. Obviously have to buff that away. Don't be silly. So I think I'm going to add highlighter at the end. I'll probably mix in a little bit of the glitter that I'm going to be using on my eyes into the highlight. So we'll leave it at that. I'm going to add a little bit of a bake onto my skin. I just shook up my Huda powder. And it's literally gone all over the table. So I'm going to be dipping my sponge into the table to get that powder. Gonna go ahead and do my brows. Using my little soap brows today. I love this stuff. As you probably know, I use it all the time. If you haven't ever used soap brows before, it's a really, really nice product, but obviously it comes in this little tin. And the problem that I have with it is this is the spoolie, and I've had to bend it so it's like that. It obviously came completely straight. But the problem that I have is that when you're putting it in the little tin, you can't get to the side, so literally it's like a dent in the middle. But I don't know what I'm going to do when I reach the bottom in the middle of it. I won't be able to get to the sides. I don't know, I just feel like there is another brow soap kind of thing out there where it's like a little tub and you put your spoolie in that way. I think that's a lot smarter. So I am using my Morphe brow cream. This is in the shade Hazelnut. I'm going to quickly pop you on a little time lapse. You guys know how I do my brows, and if you don't, go watch my other videos. Okay, I've left that powder on probably far too long, so I'm going to dust that away. I feel like I want to do something a little bit more pinky on the eyes, but a lot of glitter, kind of smoky pinky thing. Starting off with my trusty P. Louise base. What else would I be using? I am going to mix two shades together though, so I'm going to be using 2 and 3. This is just because number 2 is too light and number 3 is too dark. Mixed together. Perfect shade. So I'm going to carve out the brows, not really too precisely. I mean, I say that and look, it's like perfectly carved out. And then we're going to pack that all on the eye. I kind of want this to be slightly blown out, but I'm not going to apply the base out in towards the temples because I'll just use my little fluffy brush that I'm going to pat this product in with and blend it out that way, especially where I've already done my base makeup. And do the same on the other side. Let's go in with my little fluffy brush. Blend her out. It's all well and good applying a lot of the base product, but just make sure it's really blended into the skin. I'm going to dip into the Carnival palette for this. Look how disgusting that is. It's well loved. I think the first shade I'm going to take is the shade Persuasion, this berry toned colour here. God knows how this is going to turn out. So I'm going to take it on this Morphe M4 6 brush. It's kind of a flat brush, so it'll be nice for packing the colour on. So I've kind of applied it in the outer corner in like a V shape. Well, not really, but in that outer V. I want to be winging this out like a blown out blend. And then I've taken a PC10 brush from Peaches and Cream. I've dabbed on a little bit of the shade Makeup, which is like a soft pink, and I'm going to be buffing out this edge. So I want to wing it out slightly. I think I will eventually make this a little bit darker. I want this to be like really blown out and kind of like a smoky vibe rather than something that's like really precise. So I'm just blending this until I'm happy with it, and then I'll go back in with more of the colours that I want to be more visible. And I'm also blending out the lid colour as well, just so it's really, really soft. I'm going to start going in with a darker shade now. I'm just going to start blending in a little bit of that shade Reckless on the outer corner, so it's a little bit darker. I think I might even go darker still, so it's not so bright purple. I want it to have like a hint of that plummy kind of colour rather than it being like bright pink. I think I'm going to take a couple of colours from my ABH Modern Renaissance palette because this is literally the kind of tones I was going for. I think I might start dipping into the shade Cypress Umber, which is this corner one here. It's the darkest colour of the palette, and I'm going to start smudging this along the outer corner. So what I've done on the other side, I've buffed in a lot of that Cypress Umber shade into the outer corner, which has given it more of that smoky vibe, and I'm definitely going to be using it quite dark along the lash line as well. So I've popped that on with a Morphe kind of flat brush first, and then I've buffed it in with my Morphe M506 brush, and I am literally applying it in that outer V. And then blending it out. Just so it stays really soft, and then I'm just going to carry on applying it with this brush in kind of circular motions just to buff out that edge. I'm taking it into my socket as well, just so it doesn't stay on the lid. I want it to be slightly buffed out to the socket, so it's got a little bit of a gradient going on. And then I'm swapping between that and my bigger brush just to keep it really blended. So any moment where you see that it goes a little bit blocky, I just take the bigger brush that I used the lighter blends with just to make sure it's buffed out. And just keep swapping through the brushes until you're happy with the shape and the depth of it. So I'm just going to keep blending until I'm happy with how it looks. making sure that it looks even on the other side. So I've just popped on a little bit of sparkle and liner on the other side because I didn't realise my camera had stopped recording when I did it. But luckily I can show you what I did on this side. So I actually used the Star Party Liquid Eyeshadow by Rude Cosmetics. It's in this really pretty pink colour. Let me show you the actual applicator because that's the kind of colour of it, and I also used some other sparkles to make it a little bit more lilac rather than pink, because I wanted it to be more of like a plummy lilac-y vibe rather than bright pink. So I was actually sent this within my little beauty box that Rude Cosmetics sent me a couple of days ago. Hadn't used it until today. I'd swatched it on the back of my hand, and my first impressions were that I thought it was going to be rubbish because the actual packaging, it feels a little bit plasticky and cheap. I'm not sure how expensive these ones are, but it feels like it's going to be quite cheap, and I thought it's going to be a little bit rubbish, but it actually is really, really pretty. So I'll show you what it looks like applying it on the eye. I put the applicator on the back of my hand. I didn't apply it straight onto the lid because I didn't know how it was going to apply, whether it was going to be more watery or whether it was going to be like really, really chunky glitter. So I thought for safekeeping I would pop it on the back of my hand, and I've used another MORPHE M456 brush. It's just a flat brush, and I wanted to pack this all on the inner corner. So as you can see, it's not actually a lot of pink colour, whereas in the tube it looks super pink, and also on the back of my hand as well it's got a lot more of a pink kind of background colour. But on the eye it is definitely just more glitter that you can see, and I really like how glittery this is, but I just wanted it to be like that step up glitter. It is definitely quite a wet glitter as well, but it does dry down. Like, this is completely dry on the other side now, but I'll show you what it's like on the back of my hand. So you can kind of see there it goes into like a pink metallic kind of face almost. So I thought this was really nice for underneath like pigments, and that's exactly what I did. I dipped into the pigment called Kitten by Peaches. I'm gonna spell this. It's like this soft pink colour. You can't see it on the camera, definitely not. I added this on top, but it did kind of make it go a little bit cloudy. I lost the actual individual glitter, but it did make it a little bit more of a lighter pink, which I did like, but I wanted it to have a little bit more of like a lilac-y kind of feel to it. So I went back into the Carnival palette by Stacey Marie and Be Perfect, and I dipped into the shade Orchid, which is like a metallic lilac, and I've popped this on top. So now I'm going to go back in with the liquid eyeshadow and put it back on top, just so I've got more of that glitter coming through. By applying that liquid eyeshadow as a base first, it actually caught a lot of the shimmer and the sparkle onto the lid, so it didn't drop down onto my skin. So this look is really easy to do by doing your base makeup first. I literally have like the tiniest little flecks of glitter that's on my face, but that would naturally probably fall down throughout the day anyway. So I wanted to add a little bit more smokiness along the lash line. I've gone on with my Collection 24-Hour Extreme Eyeliner pen, and I'm just applying this like in a thin line along the lash line. I'm not really too careful with it because I go straight on top with a dark eyeshadow. You could definitely by all means use just a normal eyeliner pencil and then smudge that out, but I actually wanted it to be super dark at the lash line and none of that dark colour to disappear with the shadow, hence why I've just used the liquid pen instead. So I'm dipping into a little bit of the Cypress Umber from the ABH palette, and I'm going to pack this on top and slightly take it a bit higher as well, blending it into the eyeshadow above, and I will go on top with a black eyeshadow to just darken that up even more. Definitely tap off the excess of this eyeshadow because these ABH shadows are a little bit powdery. Really, really good pigment, but a little bit powdery, so it probably will drop down onto your cheeks if you don't tap off the excess. I'm going to pop a little bit of a eye pencil in the waterline. This is the Estee Lauder Double Wear Stay in Place eye pencil in the shade Coffee. This is just a dark brown. I'm going to pop this in the lower waterline just to give a little bit of depth. I don't want it to be like a jet black in the waterline. And then I'll also run it along the lower lash line as well, so we can smudge it out into a shadow. Whenever I do my base makeup first and finish off on the eyes, I'd rather do the whole eye look, including mascara on top and bottom lashes, rather than doing the top part false lashes and then do the bottom part. I'd rather just put the false lashes on last. So I'm just taking that little definer brush that we used with the shade Cypress Umber, buff out that eyeliner, and then I'm gonna buff that colour out with some of the purple shades, just so we've got that purple hue along the bottom part as well. I'm going to take the shade Persuasion, the first colour that we dipped into, underneath. And then I'm going to go on with a little bit of mascara as well. I've just applied some glue to my lashes. I'm using the style Princess Again by TGH Lashes. I just love their lashes, they're amazing. So I've just reapplied a little bit more bronzer, blusher, and I also popped on a little bit of highlighter. I used the shade Pure Illusion from the Rude Cosmetics little palette. This one, pointing the wrong thing. This one, obviously that is a bronzer. Didn't put that in the highlighter area. Put the highlighter in the highlighter area. Highlighter area, highlighter zone. I put the highlighter literally on all high points of my face, in the inner corner and a little tiny bit along the brow bone. I didn't want it to be too much because I didn't want to take any attention away from the sparkle that we've got going on in the inner eye area. So the last thing that we need to do is lips. I'm going to use my lip pencil in the shade Cocoa by Bobbi Brown. It is a little bit dark on its own, so I'm definitely going to apply a little bit of lipstick and probably a little bit of gloss. I'm taking the shade Myth by MAC, just on a lip brush. So I'm going to go on with a little bit of Cherub lip gloss from Peaches and Cream. Definitely am wanting the glow today, so I'm going on with my MORPHE Luminous Setting Spray. Right, let's go wipe all of this off me and sort out this hair. No, thank you. So this is the look all complete. I actually love it. I was kind of a little bit skeptical after I applied that first purpley shade. I didn't think it was going to turn out the way I had envisioned, but I love it. I think it looks really nice, especially now I've curled my hair. I've kind of finished the look off a little bit. So as always, I'm going to be linking all of the products that I used in the description box below. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments below. It really helps me out here on YouTube, and I love hearing from you that you're actually enjoying the content that I'm making as well. And let me know if you have any suggestions or requests for makeup videos or any types of videos that you want to see from me on my channel. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave. I upload videos every Sunday and Wednesday. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye!